Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our second day of CleapCon Security Conference 2022. We are starting our day today with our keynote speaker, Manishnath Tiwari. He is the founder and director at Dream Reflection Media, a leading corporate service provider, and he holds an experience of 20 plus years of experience. He believes in doing things with new and creative ideas, and his objective is very simple to achieve and taste success throughout his life. I want you all to witness his talk through our medium. Thank you, Manish, for coming in today.
Thanks, Shivani. Thanks for the introduction. And I feel really amazing to be the part of this conference. And see, I believe whoever is attending the conference right now and all the delegates, they are much more experienced than me, and they have a very vast idea about cybersecurity. And I believe from since yesterday, you guys are talking about the same topic over and over, right? So I won't bore you too much about what cybersecurity is all about, but I'll try to give you a brief introduction about it, which is my understanding of it. And being in the IT industry, I could see how the market is reacting in last 1.5 decade, and how hackers are constantly hacking the system and creating trouble for the masses, not only the big players but also for the small players as well. So it's a huge market, okay, both ways, for the hackers too and for the ethical hackers as well. And plus also the people like us who can protect the company and protect the data of our clients. So let me share my screen and get started with the presentation. So first of all, we'll talk about what cybersecurity is all about. I believe, as I said while starting my presentation, that most of you are already aware about the cybersecurity. It's not limited to just protect the big players and stop the hacking. It also goes, with the small stuff where you protect your data, your password, you save your information, and make sure that everything is protected and not shared by and easily available to anyone. And it goes beyond what you share in the laptop, desktop, or on your phone. It goes for the companies where they have their servers, it need to be protected there as well. So it's a big market, to be very honest, and there are so many players who need these services. And the moment you increase the number of apps and also the sites where you share your data, the chances of getting hacked is really high, and chances of you losing your data also is really high. We have seen how things have happened and how big countries, they are competing with each other by hacking each their data. We saw the news about Sony, right, where they got hacked by North Korea. And we also saw what happened in the American voting time when when Russia tried to hack the not only hack, also motivate the users. Uh, the person who are voting in America. So these things happens a lot in the market right now, and cybersecurity is the key area where we can provide services and support to these people, not only the top ones but also the small ones. So what is the approach of cybersecurity? It has multiple layers of security spread across the computer's network program or data intents to. It has a unified threat management system, can automate integration across select Cisco security. And there are many things, I'm like, I can tell you a number of things where cybersecurity is installed, and how it's how it's helping users on a daily basis. And it's not seen by them. They believe that everything is already protected, but there are a layer of things which need to be done to make sure that their data are safe and secure. So whenever you download an app and you allow them to access data, because that's how the system and that's how the app going to work, you're sharing your information. So there are layer of coding and also security protocols involved. Firewalls are also created to make sure that you are only sharing the data which is required, other than you are saving the data when you are not using that app. You must have noticed that it asks you that, like, are you sharing the how do you want to share the data, when you are opening the app, or you want to share all the time? So it's on your hand. Make sure that whenever you're downloading anything or you're visiting any site and you're accepting anything, like any terms and condition of privacy mode. Make sure if it's a known site, that's a different thing. But if it's a new site you're experiencing and you're trying to go in, make sure that you always check that out before and read those information before you click on agreeing the terms and condition, because they can easily hack your system, because in a way you are providing them access and also approval to access the data. But I'm not here to talk about cybersecurity, overall. My main agenda today is to talk about the market size, where the market is right now, which are the countries who are using it mostly, plus how we, as a people, a service provider, doesn't matter we are in India or outside of India, how we are going to help this market and grow this market together. So North America cybersecurity market size around in 2020 was around $62.41 billion, because like there are many people from different countries who are working toward it, but the major service providers, the big ones, are already there in the US, who are, who have a very good clientele and helping big players in there. There are many other small players also like us who are helping out our customers on daily basis, but again, the number which counts more are from the bigger players only. The projection for 2022, and as you can see, the result of 2021 is huge. Since the last one, it has grown a lot, and it's become an industry of almost $220 billion, and it has a very good projection of it can go up to $345 billion by 2026. The reason being, the market has become more digital. People are approaching and doing everything online. Since COVID has hit us on last 2 years back, most of the companies started working online, right? And you just can't depend on intranet too much, because the moment you're moving into intranet, and people are using personal systems also to do the office work, the chances of getting hacked is really high. So to make the protection layer and the firewall strong, companies are investing a huge lot of money to make sure that they get proper security, and that's a kind of boom to the cybersecurity market. And this is only happening in the bigger area. Believe me, when I'm talking about $345.38 billion by 2026, I mean only the 90%, 20% of people, the bigger players, are using it and investing it. There are so many other things which are going on in the market, which is not captured in the data and analyst, and that's the area, we can hit in a nice way. I don't know what's the state of cybersecurity in 2031 will look like. Definitely, we have no idea, because there are many things which are coming in a positive way, like the introduction of AI, the introduction of metaverse. These have both positive consequences and also the negative one too. People say that why we are going with AI, it has it's unethical and it will create a lot of job, like people will lose their job too. But they fail to understand that like you use a gun also for the protection, and also you use gun for the destruction too. It's all up to you how you're using it. So if we just leave it because our conscience says that we should not use these kind of tools because it can have a wrong impact too, then I think it's a lie, because we are not using it for harming someone. We are using it for the protection, right? Cybersecurity is all about securing people, not destroying people, right? So we can use whatever tools we think is good enough, safe enough, and it's protecting our client. It has a huge opportunity in the coming days, and I believe small player like us can create a very huge difference in the market. If we try to envision that we are not servicing higher people who can invest millions or billions of dollars in their security. If we think about people who are small people like us, have a very small business, and they also get hacked sometime over through spammers and also through malware attacks. So how we can protect them? We need to come up with some kind of solution for them too. And if we do come out with some kind of solution as a startup or as a existing company, I think the market size will increase more than the projection we have right now. When I say future projection, as I mentioned, there are many tools which are there in the market which are going to be boomed a lot, which is cloud computing, state of passwords, AI and the cyber security. It's already there, but again, it's available and reach out is there for the bigger people. Still, it need to be reached out to the masses. Large scale supply chain breaches, women in cyber security. Yeah, I mean, like it's a it's a new generation, right? And it doesn't mean that only men are centric toward providing toward being a developer and a coder. I'm like, I believe this has increased a lot, and where both men and women are getting hacked and they're getting uh, cyber threat. So we need to find a way to make sure that all these people are protected in a nicer way, and we need to make sure that things like child pornography and many other things are also protected, and there should be a way to do that. So the chances of creating product is really high, to be very honest, because in the marketing I've seen in last 1 decade, that whenever you have a problem, it means it's an opportunity too, where you can create a solution and you can resolve it out, and also make a business for yourself too. So what could be our outreach marketing perspective? Just imagine you're a small startup, right? And you're trying to create something new and you're trying to reach out the market. How you'll do that? Great. You are a very, you have passed out from a very a big college, and you have a very good idea to run in the market, right? But how you'll do that? Like, you have the idea about creating a product, but how you'll reach out to customers, that's a big thing, right? So you need to make sure that whatever idea you have created very good information about it. You have put out everything in a paper, and you know what you're doing. And two more things we should be aware of, like, for whom you have created the product or you're creating the product. Secondly, what will be your approach, how you're going to deploy that. Is it for the high skill people, or is it for the low level people? So you need to know your customers too, and prepare a marketing outreach plan. So if you have the product for B2B, when I say B2B, I mean business to business, you have a different market approach, right? And when you have a B2C product, which is business to consumer, you have a different market approach. So you need to prepare your clientele in mind first, and make sure that you outreach people accordingly. So for B2B, the approach is always like, when a businessman is having a problem, he try to find a solution, not in Google. He try to see, what kind of people are there who have a very good name in the market. They try to see the credentials and the goodwill of the service provider. They don't just go on Google and try to find it out. So when you're doing B2B, you need to make sure that you have a very strong brand presence in the market. You have got videos which are there in the YouTube. People are following that. You have got some good credentials and testimonials which can show your website, right? And you're doing a right kind of campaign. You are doing holding webinars, you're holding seminars, you're doing events. Okay, you can do any of it if you're handling B2B clientele. And when you're doing B2C, then definitely, content marketing could be a good idea. Blogs could be a good idea, because that helps you to outreach really well in the open market. People search about their problems, right? Even I have a trouble when something gets hacked, or I get a malware attack on one of our client sites. We just go to Google and try to find out, I've got a malware attack, how to resolve that. Okay, and we just try to watch videos, solutions, and if it's doable, easy solutions, we do it ourselves, or we just hire somebody to do it for $100 or $50 also. So you need to know for whom you're preparing your product, and based on that, you need to create your marketing plan accordingly. There's another way of doing it. Don't exaggerate yourself. Try to make sure that your solution isn't on the point. Use data in your messaging. Create an easy to navigate library to premium content. When I say easy to create a library for premium content, I mean that when you're creating a site, okay, make sure that you explain everything in detail. There's a blueprint which you need to follow. Like, for example, if you are creating a landing page for yourself for the cybersecurity, right? You're trying to explain all the problems. Try to start with a bold promise, okay, or maybe a bold statement, and then try to talk about the problems, and then why this problem is there, and why you are the person who having this problem, and how you could find a solution for it, and all those things, because those are really important point. When people are coming to your page, any site, okay, whether it's a landing page or it's a website, they would like to know more about you, and then they like to relate that whatever problem you're talking about, it's their problem. Then only they're going to be interested, and then only they're going to book a call with you, or maybe buy things which you have to offer from your end. Expanding the cybersecurity business, as I said, you need to create a business plan to make sure that you have everything in place. You're not competing with someone who is already in the market and doing really great. even if you want to compete with them, make sure that you have something add on than what they're offering, right? And also you have all the legal things are already taken take care of. Like, it's a very thin line when you do a cyber security. Sometimes to secure someone, you have to go for hacking too, right? You need to make sure that whatever you're doing is as per the papers, as per the legal papers, and also as per the legal laws of that particular country where you're working right now. Again, as I said, I'm not more about like my experience always scatter the market portion, and I try to help out businesses to make sure that they expand their business in a nicer way. It doesn't matter if they're a startup or the settlers, like who are already in the market, who's doing really good business in the market. So whenever you do this kind of stuff, you need to make sure that you understand your market in a real way. You do study your market. And I will always suggest that when you have a small company, you're not a freelancer, you're a small company and you're running business, always have a business analyst with you who can study the market, who can give you a report and information so you can prepare a plan accordingly. You need to make sure that you do research in a well way. As I said, if you have a business analyst, he can do research and find out these information for you. But if you're a freelancer, then also you can do that. When I say freelancer, it doesn't mean I'm saying that you are just doing freelancing work. It might be happen that you are a one-man company. It can happen, right? So even in those cases, and if you're looking for a market, you need to know like who are your current competitors are, like how they are doing business, and how can you take a market share away from your competitors. Yeah, it's a competition. I'll be very honest. When you are doing a business in the market, you know that what are the things which you can add on your system so that you can give them a good competition. uh, Learning your competitors is a good thing, and I think in my slide talk more about the competitions only, but it's beyond the competition too. It's also about learning your own clientele too, and also learning your current market as well, and the problems which are happening. Like, people are complaining a lot about few things, and nobody's answering to that. That's the business you can go in cybersecurity. So you need to research a lot. You need to keep an eye open to different channels and portals where security breach is really high. For example, if I talk about my industry, WordPress gets hacked on a daily basis, right? So if I keep an eye out there, I see a lot of people complaining for things, and there's an opportunity where I can understand, what problem is already persisting a lot in the market, and there is no support for that. If I provide a support on that zone, definitely I'll get a business because I can see ready customer in front of my eye. Tips for the startups in cybersecurity to improve the market. Again, you need to work on your strategy. You need to make sure that you understand your market really well. You scan your competitors. You run your market research properly, and try to understand, like, whatever business you're going to launch in the market, what is the scope of it? Who are the end users? How they're going to react on it? Okay, and what kind of pricing you're going to put out there? Are you investing more than required? And the last thing, which is very important, what version of the services you're launching? Because people tend to believe that I should launch the best version in the market right now, but they fail to understand that we need to start with a better version, because there will be feedback, there will be comments, right? And there's a timing factor as well. So if you are looking for to launch something, start with a better version instead of launching a version 10 of it. It won't make any sense, because I believe you want to launch something good in the market, but you need to make sure that whatever you're creating, uh, it's a small version of it, and you're launching it out so that you can get feedback too. There's always room for improvement, and you'll only grow. For example, you have 10 steps that you want to launch, so start with 3 and let people have it for free, and so that they can give feedback on that. And meanwhile, just keep on updating it by launching the 4th option, 5th option, 6th option until 10. This will also make a good habit for you, because you'll keep on upgrading your system, because you have a habit of it by then. Again, this is the steps for the people who are starting up and who want to reduce the risk on their company. So it's not about the company of people, startups who are launching their business in cybersecurity. It's for the people who are launching the business as a any industry, but how they should secure their system. So I believe you guys are already aware of it. You are the masters for it. But I'll give you what my knowledge says based on my industry. We should always use strong password. We should always use a two-factor authentication. We should have a firewall to make sure that security threats are minimized, and we should implement the principle of least privilege. When I say that, it has a very detailed meaning about it. I'll be very honest, I have very less clue about it, like what is POLP all is all about. But to my understanding, it could be, where you are not giving access to almost everyone. You're making sure that the backend or the database and everything is pretty much secure and have a minimal access to the people, and only to those people who are reliable and trustable for that. And yeah, you need to update your network security on a regular basis. You just can't update one and then you just forget about it. If you don't do that, there are many things which are associated with it, right? For example, I'll give you a website example only, and it's a very minimal example. So for an example, you are launching a site in WordPress, okay, and you're using 10 to 15 plugins to support your site, plus you have a theme as well, plus you have a server where you're having the PHP version of it. So just imagine there are so many different versions which are going, which you are using right now. If the PHP version is not updated on your server and your WordPress version is updated, system will crash, and you will have no idea what made these things out. Secondly, when you have a WordPress version updated and you have plugin updated as well, but your theme is not updated because you have taken it from a company who is not updating it anymore. Like they have stopped their business. So it's a risk factor. So you need to make sure that whatever you're using from a reliable sources, and also it has a very strong presence in the market too. Don't go for any free plugins or anything which is looks scary. Now, you must have noticed, I speak really fast, I'm sorry for that, but you must have noticed that I've talked about settlers. So what I mean by settlers are the companies who are already, working for more than 2 or 3 years in the market, and how they can improve and expand their business. See, if they have stayed in the business for 3 or 4 years, I'm talking about you guys too. If you have stayed for business in the business for 3 to 4 years now, have you seen your growth? Like, have you measured your growth yet? And how do you do that? And also, how do you plan to improve yourself in the future too? I believe in the business you have always have a steps, invisible steps. Not only in business, it also happens in your life also. uh, so whenever you take a step one, okay, and you think that you're already doing good in the step one, I think that's the best time to move to step two as well. So don't stick to one step. Try to make sure that whenever you feel comfortable that you have done really doing really good to step one or step two or step three, it's high time to move into the step two, sorry, the next step. So to make sure that you are doing good in the market, you need to make sure that you have proper registration in the place and you're expanding your business. Like, I'll tell you an example of mine. For last 10 years I run my business as a proprietorship firm. If people are not aware what is proprietorship is all about, it's about I'm the sole owner of the company and I'm running things on my own terms. But I realized that if I want to improve my business and I want to expand my business, I should be moving to the next stage where I can bring more players, more mind in the game, right? And if you're bringing on more mind in the game, then you can't just go solo. You need people on in your board of directors too. Secondly, when you're launching a product, you're asking for the investors, they won't come for the proprietorship firm, right? Because that way you won't be able to share any kind of equity with them. So you need to move into a bigger level where you can either share the partnership with them, or maybe you can offer them the equity by becoming a private limited company or a public limited company. All depend like what kind of stage you are in the business right now. Also, when you're a settler, you need to make sure that when you're expanding your business, you have enough fund to take care of it. uh, I mean, I have to give my examples again. 1 year back, my team was around 15 people only, and we made a plan that we need to move into a team of 50 people. So we made sure that like we have the right kind of budget for it, and we made a plan where we had an analysis done for like how many expenses will be there if we hire 50 people, and and we give them an increment as well, like a basic 20% increment on a 6-month basis. So all those things have been taken care of before we move into a bigger picture. So if you're a settler and you're doing good business and you want to expand your business, you need to make sure that like you understanding like how much services you're going to bring in to cater that kind of cost, and how you're going to earn profit as well, and how you're spending your business as well, right? So you need to make sure that you understand that thing and work on them accordingly. And I'll give you one more example. For example, you have a team of 30, 40 people, right? And you are hiring more people as a developer and a service provider, like people who are very good in the security person, and like they are good with the coding. So you're hiring them, but you're not hiring anyone from the marketing team. So it's a risk factor, right? Because there will be many people to provide the services, but there won't be any services for them to work on. So to make sure that you're doing this thing in the right way, you need to analyze this thing in a much better way. And I would always suggest that like when you have a bigger team in place, make sure you also have an analyst in place as well, who can do the examination, who can research everything out and give it to you so that you can easily take a decision. I understand being a businessman, you have a very keen eye to everything, but again, we are totally busy, right? We have our mind separated in so many things. We are looking into the services also, we're looking in the team as well, and we're also making sure that the business is growing too. So we can't take care of everything. We need analysts in place who can help us out to take a decision. Again, this is I would suggest prioritize your business, increase your credibility, focus on teaching and also not selling, because in the cybersecurity market, you need to talk about the problems people who are having, right? And how the people can get a solution for it. So you need to expand more about the issue. I believe Clipcon is doing a great job in this thing. Through Clipcon, we were understanding different phases of threats in the market right now, and the different kind of need of cybersecurity in the market right now. So these are the things which help people to understand more about the problem and how the solution could be easily help them, right? So that's why focusing on teaching is also important compared to the selling portion. Go beyond customer expectation. That's always the motto, and that's the dream of all the company and service provider, right? To make sure that they're servicing in a nicer way and also helping out their customers beyond their expectations. So that's the aim we always keep in our mind. And I believe whoever is going to launch his business in the market, whether you're a startup or the settlers, or extending already a good service provider and settle in the market, to make sure that you always give go beyond the next step of your customers, and also go beyond the next step of the threat in the market too, because you never know what kind of new threat will come up, right? So you need to research and find out the problems which are not yet too big but can become big in the future. So you need to make sure that you study all those things as well, because this will help you out to understand how you're going to react in the future in the market. See, I had an idea, maybe it's a wrong idea, but cybersecurity is more about service based, where you're having the huge number of service. I mean, the income is coming from service based industry instead of product from the market. Yeah, there are antivirus softwares applications in the market right now. They also generate a huge business out of that. But I believe still we are more into service based industry only, and we need to create small products and also big products based on the market threat we have right now in the market. So the innovators in the company, in the cybersecurity company, they need to come up with solution where you can have one product which they can place and which can at least easily resolve the small issue which happens. Think of the hackers. They don't hack each site manually, right? uh, they just create a script and launch it out in the market, and that whenever somebody is using that script by mistake, the system gets hacked easily. So if these things are happening in from the hackers, then I think we should also come up with a solution where we can implement the strategy in place and make sure that it's taken care of. So I would suggest all you thinkers and all your expertise that think of something where you can maybe have a tie up with an IT company and come up with a solution which could be really easy and accessible for the masses also, and also for the bigger players as well. How the service based industry can go to product based industry, if they need to go with the 5 step, which I think may work really, which I follow for myself. Have a realistic plan with the approach. Don't think of that you can achieve anything. You can definitely achieve anything, but you need to have a proper plan for that too. For example, you saw a problem in the market, right? And you thought that we can create a solution for it, and you didn't plan the timing for it, right? So you took almost 1 year to 2 years to provide a solution for it. And by that time, the problem has become obsolete, because even the hackers don't repeat the same thing again and again. They always come up with some new problem in their mind, right? So try to make sure that you have a very realistic plan to achieve that, and you have a very nice way to approach it as well. Focus on learning the right skill. The market is developing on a daily basis. Okay, there are many problems which are coming in the market, and there are many solutions also which are coming in the market. Plus, your teammate can't have all the knowledge and skill set when they join the company, right? So to make sure that, like, when you're focusing on moving into one section to another section, you're providing proper training to your teammate too. They may be very good in data forensic, but they need to know, if they have to automate that process, how it can work. Maybe like you can hire people from outside, but again, there should be a cross training through which, both of the department understand each other, and make sure that whenever these things are going to work out, they do it together and in a proper way. Ability to architect a scalable system, again, that's a part of the part two only. As I said, you need to have a cross training, you need to have a proper plan in the process, you need to design the entire layout of it to make sure that how it's going to be achieved, and how it's going to be, implemented in the market when it's created in the market. Hire brilliant minds and experienced ones. I always say that hire the good minds, because this is really going to help you out a lot. Hire analyst, hire product manager, and hire agile coaches. Okay, right now, business run through agile and scrum. I believe you should hire these kind of coaches too, who can help you to improve your business. You don't know how much improvement we can do. I'll give an example. Like, we being a human, we work easily, and we, like, we scroll around and we live the life happily, right? And we believe that, just breathing is one thing which is required to live a huge great life, right? That's not the case. The moment we start doing exercises, we go to gym, we do yoga, it improves our healthy lifestyle. Same thing happens with these also. So we need to bring on good things in our company, and make sure that these things are implemented in a proper format, so that all the people who are involved in that are getting benefit out of it. And also, having a good scrum masters, or the coaches or the analysts, help you to understand that what you're doing, and how we can reduce the time and improve the efficiency in this. Stick to the goal. Please have a product manager, and make sure that when you create a timeline and it's approved by your all the team members involved in it, you stick to it. Okay, if you want to launch something in 2019 or 2022, launch it out. Okay, don't delay for any reasons. So make sure that whatever plan you have in mind, you stick to it, don't delay it. Again, there are many failures which happens because you go without proper planning, and that's the risk we need to take on, right? Being a business man, I believe you already taken a risk, right? So you need to make sure that whatever study you're doing, whatever project plan you want to go with, you study that in advance, and only go for it when you're 100% confirmed and confident that you can achieve this thing, or else the failures will be there. Again, failure is nothing, it's a destination. Like, success is one of the destination, and the failure is also a next destination. So when you reach to failure, the next step is success only, because you learn from your mistake. You need to learn from your mistake, really, because if you don't do that, and you again go back and do the same thing again and again, you'll always meet the same kind of predicament. So make sure that, like, you have a proper thing in place, and try to analyze where you have gone wrong, and try to improve on that. Again, when I talk about cybersecurity, and I believe if I call to any one of you and will ask you that, like, I'm having a problem, how much you're going to charge me, right? You'll straight away come up with a amount like $5,000, $10,000, or something like that. It could be bigger, it could be smaller, but we need to understand whom we are helping out and how we are helping them out. So just try to understand. A bigger company, or maybe a mid-sized company, also won't mind to pay you too high, right? But the volume is really low. For example, I believe in the world we have around 580 billion users, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's the number I could see, right? So they are the people who can pay you in millions, okay? And but what about the companies who are really small, right? The mid size will be around how much? 10,000, 20,000, right? Then it comes the masses, people like us, maybe, less than us, okay, who don't have bigger business, whose entire business is almost $1,000 only, right? They are running a grocery shop, they are running, maybe online clothes store or something like that, right? Since COVID, people have gone online and they're doing so many things. The number of sites has increased a lot. Maybe, I would say 200% in last 2 years only, compared to what it was there for 20 years. So to make sure that, we have a product for them would be a good idea, because that way, I'll ask you, whom are you going to serve? A company who is ready to pay you $5,000, but you only have two customers in that, or like, a product which you can sell for $1, but there are around 50,000 people who would like to have it, and they would be happy to pay you on a monthly basis. So you're earning $50,000 on a monthly basis, but by just creating a product for $1 only. Okay. Now, how you're going to create a product for $1? That's I really don't have any idea. I believe it could be $10, it could be $50, it could be anything, but at least it's less than, 50 or $100, so that everybody can use it. And you have to come up with idea, you have to come up with solution, you have to come up with the problem which people are facing a lot right now, and need to come up with a solution for that. The moment you do that, I hope and I believe that there's a huge market for it. Again, when you're creating something, you need to make sure that it's marketed well as well. But again, try to create something for the masses where you can sell it out easily, instead of, going with the big players, because there you'll have huge competition. So that's the only thing I have in my mind. And I would like to say that, there are many things which you can do in this, because that's what we see in a regular market. This one of them is antivirus software, which is already there, which is very cheap, but again, it's very outdated, and it's only protect to one segment only. But there are many segments right now in the market, so you need to think of all of them and try to come up with a solution for it. This is what I had. I think I didn't bore you guys. If you have any question, I'd be happy to answer that.
Thank you, Manish. It was wonderful. And specifically, I really love the part where you mentioned about the small industries and how to, serve the security for them. I think that's the point to ponder for us all, and how to reach the masses actually, because rightly said, most of the companies are serving the big fours and the others. And what about the small scale or the startups? They're usually left behind on terms of security. Aptly said. And we do have questions for you from the live forum. So the first question is like how to make people aware or adopt cybersecurity in their companies, whether it is small or big.
See, we can come up with the problems they are facing in the market right now. As I said, you need to do a lot of research, on an ongoing research, and try to find out like what kind of problems are getting flagged by them. There are many forums in the Facebook, and there are many YouTube channels where people come up and try to find a solution for it. So on those channels, you can easily see they highlight the problem, that I'm facing this problem. Do we have a solution for this thing or not? So you need to do your research properly, maybe see 10 problems which they are having, and then try to have a
Mm-hmm.
solution for it. You can communicate there, or you can create your own webinar and try to put it out. There are YouTube channels also through which you can promote. So there are so many ways. The moment you talk about the problems people are facing, they will come up to you like a moth. So that's the only solution I have, I believe. You need to be very open, and you need to communicate in a proper format.
True. And one more question is people often tend to forget security while developing any product or a service. What do you think? Where should security come or in which phase of development?
I believe we should come very in on the initial phase of the development only, because when you create a project, okay, you always miss out a lot of, you create a lot of loopholes also, like the side backgate entry which you open up and you have no
Yeah.
idea about it. Okay, so you need to make sure that like whatever system is created, you create a flowchart of it. And when you create a flowchart of it, you can always share with this with the people, so that they can easily see it. When I say flowchart, it's like, it's a kind of product life cycle. So when a company is launching a site, okay, or maybe anything which they're launching online, or maybe offline also, because there may be a product manufacturer and they have a CRM inside, right, which nobody's seeing it right now, but it has got all the data they have got right now, right? So whenever you're creating a product, you need to have a life cycle so that they can see this is where the cybersecurity need to be installed in their system.
Mhm.
So they need to be trained. They need to be trained huge because they have no idea, what kind of threat they are facing. They always believe that they will always get a decoy right in their place.
Right.
But right now, these people who are trying to rob you are invisible.
True. Very true. Okay, I don't think so there are any further questions. And that brings up to the end of our session. Thank you, Manish, so much
But
for kickstarting our day 2. And it was an ultimate pleasure to host you again. And I hope to see you next year,
sure,
hopefully in a physical conference.
definitely. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you, everyone.